Let me take you back to a time when I had absolutely nothing. No house. No job. No money. I wasn't sleeping in a comfortable bed or waking up to motivational books and green smoothies. I was sleeping in a car. With one hand on the steering wheel, and the other holding on to hope, barely. I didn't know if I would make it to the next day. I didn't even have the luxury to think about dreams. Because when you're homeless, your biggest goal is surviving the next 24 hours. And yet, here I am. Today, I own or co-own over 30 companies. I'm part of billion-dollar brands, but let me be honest, the journey wasn't a straight line. It was failure after failure, one heartbreak after another. And a whole lot of doors slammed in my face. And if you're sitting there right now thinking you're too broke, too tired, or too late to change your life, I'm living proof that the world doesn't get to write your ending. You do. I was born in 1944 in East LA, right in the middle of poverty. My dad was Italian, my mom Greek. When I was just 2 years old, they split up. My mom did everything she could, but the truth is, we barely had enough to eat. By the time I was 9, I was knocking on doors selling Christmas cards and newspapers. Not because I thought it was fun, but because my family needed money for food. That was it. I wasn't thinking about savings or dreams, I was thinking about how to eat dinner. Sometimes people would slam the door in my face. Sometimes they'd laugh or look down on me. But every no toughened me. And every time I didn't quit, I became a little stronger. That's when I learned, rejection isn't personal. It's preparation. Point 33. After high school, I didn't go to college. I went straight to work, anything that could pay me something. I was a janitor, a gas station attendant, sold encyclopedias door to door, even cleaned up cemeteries. I didn't care what the job was, if it paid, I did it. But nothing ever stuck. Nothing ever lasted. Eventually, I joined the Navy. It gave me structure. And when I got out, I thought maybe life would get better. But it didn't. Life hit harder. I got married. Had a child. And then one day, I came home from work. And they were gone. No warning. No goodbye. Just an empty apartment and a note. I was alone again. Only this time, I had no job, no partner, and barely any savings. That was the first time I truly hit rock bottom. I found myself homeless in Los Angeles. I had an old car. That was my house now. I parked in Echo Park. Slept in the back seat. I'd wake up in the morning, sneak into gas station bathrooms, and wash up as best I could. I kept a clean shirt and tie in the car, just in case I found a job interview. You don't know humility until you're brushing your teeth next to a toilet with strangers walking by. But I kept telling myself, this is temporary. This is not my story's ending. I sold shampoo door to door. And most days, I made nothing. But I didn't stop. Because if I quit, I had nothing to fall back on. In 1980, I met a hairdresser named Paul Mitchell. We got to talking. He was great with hair, I knew how to sell. We came up with an idea, a new kind of hair product line, clean, high quality, cruelty-free. But guess what? We had no money. I was still broke. Paul wasn't doing much better. So I borrowed $700. That's all we had. No office. No staff. No marketing. Just a couple boxes in the back of a car, 2 guys with a dream, and enough grit to drive salon to salon. We got turned away so many times. But a few salons said yes. That's all we needed. That's when I learned, you don't need millions to start a business. You just need one good idea, and a refusal to quit. That's $700? It turned into Paul Mitchell Systems, a company now worth over $1 billion. When the money started coming in, I made a promise to myself, I would never become the person who forgets what it feels like to be desperate. That's why we never tested on animals. We never laid off people just to save a buck. And we gave back from the beginning. I started donating to food banks, supporting orphanages, building homes for veterans. Because I know what it's like to have no one. And if success doesn't help someone else, is it really success? After Paul Mitchell, most people would have stopped. But I couldn't. I started Patron Tequila. People thought I was crazy. Back then, tequila wasn't cool. But I knew quality would speak. It became the world's first ultra-premium tequila brand. Billion-dollar brand number 2. Then came John Paul Pet, healthy grooming for animals. Then ROKT, mobile phones and Wi-Fi for the underserved. Then came solar companies, diamond firms, deodorants, CBD products, even space technology. Today, I co-own or run more than 30 businesses. And they all share one thing, they solve real problems, and they care about people. I didn't build an empire because I was the smartest guy in the room. I built it because I outlasted everyone who gave up too soon. You want to know what made me? The pain. The hunger. The heartbreak. The nights I felt invisible. All of that, it shaped me more than any business school ever could. There were nights I cried in silence. Nights I prayed I wouldn't wake up. But I did wake up. And I got back up. Every time. Because I knew. If I gave up, no one was coming to save me. But if I kept going, I had a shot. And sometimes that's all we need. One shot. People come up to me and say, John, I don't have capital. John, I don't know anyone in business. John, I don't have a college degree. And I tell them, neither did I. Your background is not your barrier. Your pain is not your prison. Your doubt is not your destiny. What you need is courage. The courage to keep showing up. To keep knocking. To believe in something even when the world laughs at it. That's where greatness begins, not in comfort, but in chaos. Today, I spend just as much time giving as I do building. I support programs for homeless veterans, education for foster kids, global clean water projects. Why? Because I promised myself, if I ever made it out, I'd make a way for others to follow. And I meant that. That's what real wealth is. How many lives did you make better? I went from sleeping in a car with 67 cents in my pocket to owning 32 companies. From being thrown out of job after job to building billion-dollar brands. Not because I was lucky. Not because I had perfect timing. But because I believed when no one else did, and I never quit. So if you're listening to this right now thinking, I'll never get out of this. Let me tell you something, you can. You're one decision away. One idea away. One hard day away from everything changing. I'm John Paul DeJoria. And I was homeless. Now I'm a CEO, a philanthropist, and a builder of empires. But most of all, I'm living proof that no matter how far down you start, you can rise. And when you do, lift others with you. Because success shared is the only success that truly matters.